Good evening to you, viewers of Cafdil TV. Welcome to today's edition of Religious Vocation Digest. I believe you enjoyed the previous episode since we started the year 2025. Today we are going to have a discussion with some leaders or members of an association which is CAFDAG. CAFDAG. So we are yet to know what that really means and then what they do, their composition and other things. This is Cafdil TV. We shall be right back.
Blessed be the infant Jesus,
now and forevermore.
sweet infant Jesus.
I give you my heart.
Hello everyone, this is Society of the Infant Jesus. This society was established in 1961 by the late Most Reverend John Bojo Emisa of blessed memory. This bishop saw the need to establish this congregation because the white sisters were getting old and some were going back to their countries. So he decided to establish this congregation to take over from these white sisters. This is our charism, to incarnate the word, which is God with us, and make him present in the world. How do we make God present in the world? We are into various apostolates, which includes
Catering service, procurement officer,
data,
fashion designer, biomedical scientist.
we have students also in our midst. She is studying accounting and she is Sister Cecilia. We are inviting you young ladies to come and join us. It's a beautiful life. The work is so much for us. We need more of you to come and join us so that together we can win more souls for Christ. Sweet infant Jesus,
I give you my heart.
please, if you want to contact us, you can call on 0244 042004. 0244 042004. The more you honor me,
The more I will bless you. Consecrate our hearts to thee, to them for souls, raising like thine, so deeply based intensity. Thou art a king, our hearts will be Jesus, sweet Jesus, sweet Jesus, ever true to thee. Thou art a king, our hearts will be sweet Jesus, sweet Jesus, sweet Jesus, ever true to thee.
thank you.
You're welcome back. Just as I said, we have with us in the studios of Cafdil TV some members of CAFDAG, and then we are going to have a discussion on the association. To do this discussion with me is, on my right is Reverend Father Francis Finn, the Archdiocesan Vocations Director for the Cape Coast Archdiocese. Father, you are most welcome.
Thank you.
And on my left is Friar Francis Atobra Eduse Poku, the Vocations Director for Franciscan Minor Conventuals here in Ghana. Father, you are most welcome. We are live on Facebook, Cafdil Cape Coast, YouTube, Cafdil EDU. Kindly share the link with friends and family and let us know your questions, your comments at the comment section. To begin with, Father Francis Finn, since all of you are Francis, Father Francis Finn, let me start with you. Who are you as an association? When we say CAFDAG, what does the acronym mean?
Thank you. Good evening to all viewers. CAFDAG is the acronym that stands for the Catholic Vocations Directors and Directresses Association of Ghana.
Okay.
So that's all about CAFDAG, Catholic Vocations Directors and Directresses Association of Ghana. It should have been Vocation Directors and that will be all. But because we have the sisters with us, definitely there will be directresses. So Catholic Vocation Directors and Directresses Association of Ghana. We have an association, all of us from the diocese and the archdioceses, from the religious congregations and communities. We form a very big association in Ghana. So this is the association.
Okay. Would you like to add anything?
Yeah, if you look at the acronym, it has only one V, but the V goes for, there's D, one D rather, which goes for directors and directresses, as Father mentioned, that it is to cater for the two genders. Sometimes the women will think that, we are not gender sensitive and balanced, but sometimes it becomes also difficult to just use directors, but to put directresses is just to favor both. That is why we have, even though the acronym is 1D, but it takes care of the two genders. Yes.
So which designation is better? Vocation promoter, vocation director? Let me ask you first.
This is something very debatable anyway, and I would tend to think the vocation promoter is preferable, given the fact that it is an apostolate. And so as an apostolate, you are to put things in place to, we say, get a candidate, or if a candidate comes forth, you are supposed to help the candidate just as promoting the candidate to help the candidate to be able to achieve that vocation, that call from God. So there are several dimensions to our duty and our role as vocation directors. So one of them is to promote vocations, and the promotion of vocation, being referred to as a vocation promoter, for me, in that line would be preferable. The director might be something very official, something very limited to some extent, but promoter someone would have the notion of being accompanying, something like that. So vocation promoter is preferable for me.
Okay. Father Finn, are you on the same line with him?
Not really. The two can be used interchangeably, according to me. And depending on what you are doing at that particular moment. A young man comes to the office and claims to be called by God. He needs direction. I listen to him, then I'm able to tell him that according to what you are saying and your charism, you should approach the Franciscans.
Okay.
Then I am directing him. When I go to the parishes to speak about vocations to the church and to societies, I am promoting vocation. So at least one of them will definitely be used, vocations director, but he is also a promoter, depending on what he is doing at what time. Okay. So any of them is preferable, but since you must stick to one, calling him vocations director is not a problem. Some religious houses, they call him a promoter.
Yes.
And according to the vocations director of Sunyani Diocese, he calls himself the vocations promoter. and calls the parish priests the directors, because the seminarians are with him, the parish priest, and the parish priest will refer the seminarians to him, the diocesan promoter. So whatever you are doing, at what point in time, you may call yourself a promoter or a director. But I am the vocation director of the Archdiocese of Cape Coast for now.
I love that.
Yeah. One other designation which normally comes is also animation. So, which is all part of the roles that the vocation director or vocation promoter plays. And so some would also prefer calling those who undertake this apostolate as vocation animators. It all goes in the same direction. Yes, it all goes in the same direction.
Okay. Father Finn, in my opinion, being a diocesan vocations director is simpler, as in the work being easier than being a vocations director for a religious congregation. You know what? Because at least normally what we know is if somebody wants to be a priest, the person will have to go to the parish priest, and the parish priest will direct him or her to the vocations director. So in your case, him to the diocesan or archdiocesan vocations director. But for religious, you have to go fish out for them. That is to me. What do you make of that?
Good. So when you were using the two words simpler and easier, I was also thinking I would want you to use less cumbersome, because none is easier. For the religious, I will side with you. For them, the whole world is their parish. But we have the archdiocese or the diocese to work within.
Yeah.
And we have the priests to support us. With us, for Emisano, we have Emisano, the minor seminary, where the young men themselves are fighting to be. Even if you've not gone to the parishes to speak, they themselves are knocking. So they are coming. But it's not that easy to journey with somebody you hardly know, to try to prune a person into the image of Christ. It's not easy. To ask the bishop to ordain this man and possibly wait when it comes to this person, it's not easy. Getting the financial support for the work is not easy. So some vocation directors don't even have the vehicles to move around. And some we get, I know probably you ask of the challenges. So I think I side with you comparing the two. The religious vocations promoter, his task may be more cumbersome.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Again, if you just following up from where Father mentioned, left off, you realize that as much as they would also have the parishes, you realize that there are always priests around. And they are the majority. And so they are the first point of call. So that is what makes it less cumbersome. Unlike ourselves, as he mentioned, that the world is our parish. Yes. And so even though we have few parishes which are animated by religious congregations, it's not always easy that you even get vocations from our various parishes. Yes. But for the diocesans, since they are readily available, always available, and they are the ones who are always the first point of call, it's easy to engender these vocations, these desires in many young men. After all, most religious in Ghana grew from diocesan parishes. Yeah, it was there, as he said, then they would direct you to understand, okay, it is not, if it's just priesthood that you would want, then be a diocesan. But if it is a life of consecration beside priesthood, then these are the other forms of consecration that there is in the church. Then you will be able to, okay, discern that with the word discern, then this is where the Lord is drawing me to. Yeah. So the being less cumbersome is practically because of this.
Okay. With religious vocations directors, I don't know whether it's to all congregations. Mostly your work ends when the person enters the postulancy, isn't it? Or it goes beyond that?
It varies from
Okay.
congregation to congregation. Mine, to some extent, ends when the candidate is presented to the council or the definitory, as we call it. Then they are entered postulancy. So once they are received in postulancy, then my work ends. Unless there is something for a follow-up, then the postulant director would make recourse, or later on in the formation, if there is a need for maybe to be someone to be sent on mission for studies elsewhere, they might consult to understand, okay, what do you say, how do you know this person well, just to add up to the information that they would want. So on a large scale, that is how it goes. Mine and others may also end when the person enters postulancy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is your situation the same, Father?
No.
Okay.
The task is first fishing out the young men for priesthood. Then you journey with them from the minor seminary through the major seminary until he is ordained.
Oh, okay.
From time to time, when they are theologians, they will have to be sent out for pastorals. Others may call it internship somewhere. Then you have to follow up, visit them periodically whilst they are there. And sometimes when they have left, you have to go there and listen to stories about how they
left.
worked.
Yeah.
So, and some are needy seminarians. You need to fight for support for them. Just yesterday, I attended a meeting of vocations directors and directors in Sotum. It's more or less like a PTA meeting. So one in Sotum, one in Pedu, have to send a report, get a report from the formators as well, then meet with all the seminarians in the seminary and discuss, if possible, on one-on-one basis, their reports with them. Okay. It's not easy. Then, periodically, you have to report to the bishop how formation is going and how the students are responding. It's not easy. So you have to know them individually and write a report about all of them, because it is your report the bishop will use or stand on to ordain the young man. So sometimes it's not easy. Is he called or not? Is he calling himself? He may end up dismissing someone who has been properly called by God and ordain someone whose outward appearance portrays that he's been called, but probably not. Okay. It is not that easy, but that is my job. Yeah. So that is the job.
Yeah. Since it is the first time we're having a diocesan priest on this program, I have lots of questions for you. How do you feel when you have to let somebody go during his seminary time? As in, the person exiting the seminary.
It's not easy. Anytime I preach marriages at church, I first mention that the purpose of marriage is not divorce. So the purpose for which I fished out the young man from the parish to the seminary is not to dismiss him. Is to journey with him and lead him to the altar. So anytime, sometimes the bishop will ask you to call the young man and tell him he's dismissed. I have to travel to his house, sit the parents and the siblings down, tell them why he is exiting the seminary. It's not easy. Sometimes you feel you have failed. Why will Christ leave the 99 sheep and go after one? So each of them matters, and it's not easy. We feel very bad, especially when the young man is to be ordained a priest and he's left out.
Very close.
Very, very close. So I don't relax. I still journey with a young man, irrespective of what we hear people say. We have the facts, they don't. So I journey with a young man to know actually what he has done, to accept his guilt. That's the first point. Then see the way out if he will allow himself to be helped by the diocese, the church, to be stable in life. If you cooperate, we will not just ask him to go, we will support him. But it's not easy with me.
Yeah. This issue of when somebody is just to be ordained and the person has to exit reminds me of something. This is on a lighter note. So in Saltpond, where I had my postulancy, one gentleman came for mass one day, and then I was having a discussion with one woman, and she said, ye nyumina, no me so there, because no a seminary, no waka tumno broma washa. No must tumno brom no way, was no so too.
Tumno brom is so too. So upon we have so many of our seminaries. The seminary formation in Ghana actually began in Saltpond.
Okay.
So the calling is there. There are so many ex-seminaries in Saltpond, some going as far as Pedu. And most of the parents are grieved. They are grieved. So that's it. It's not easy, and it will never be easy to ask a young man to leave the seminary, or you are not going to be ordained after his formation. And what I have to put across is that for our listeners, no bishop, no vocations director will journey with a young man from the scratch to the point that he should be ordained, only for him to ask him to go home. No, we have paid at least 6,000 a year, and it's 12 years.
For each seminary?
For each seminarian. It's 12 years. So if he hasn't done anything, you ask him to leave.
Yeah.
And sometimes for the good of the church. So that when a priest is posted to your own parish, you yourself will accept him with open arms. Yeah. So that's what we do for you. It's not easy at all the same. It's our work.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
But the Lord of the harvest has been great, because still the harvest is rich, isn't it?
It's great. We are praying that it will be rich and richer, and have quality and not quantity. Sometimes we also look at that. People say, you've been ordaining priest, wow, you are blessed. Yes, we want to be blessed in our quality and not quantity.
Father Eduse Poku, what are the major roles, or your major role as a religious vocation director?
Okay, so just to pick up from where Father left off, to get into this major roles as a vocation promoter, as much as you would go out to promote vocation, speak about your congregation, the charism and the life, a young man gets to you with interest, getting to know this young man in the first place, as Father mentioned, is not something simple. Getting to let the young man open up takes a whole lot of, would say, that is discernment, that accompaniment. Then sometimes they tend to think most religious vocation promoters are too, we say what, bureaucratic. We just deal with papers, and we also pray. Because if this is the young man who says he has been called by God, so if he says that, then I'm supposed to have the eye to see actually which disposition this person has. Yes. And so at that particular time, before the person gets into the system, you may have apparently 9 months.
Okay.
Now, within 9 months, how are you able to get to know this person more? Going to where the person comes from, speaking to the family members, talking to people whilst the young man is not even aware. And so that moment of discernment is not only on the part of the aspirant, it's also on my part as the vocation promoter, because at the end of the day, I'm going to give a report as to who this person is and how he should be considered for our way of life, And so that brings me to the major roles that I do, First of all is recruitment. And recruitment has 2 dimensions. Yeah. That is the promotion. The promotion is to get, we say, viable grounds, like the gospel of today. The seeds which the sower cast. Good soil, thorns, on rocky grounds and everything. So you go out. Prior to that, seeing friars wherever they are, silently you are promoting vocations per our way of life. Then you go out, ask for viable grounds to speak about your congregation. Then, by so doing, you'll be recruiting. And the recruitment, you enlist, given the requirements, if the person meets that requirement. Father made mention of something. It is for the good of the church. It's for the good of the church. That is why all these things are necessary and are key. Again, it will end up, if it is for priesthood or even for final vows, at the end of the day, they are going to base on you to say, what do you say about this person? So there is recruitment. And the recruitment encompasses promotion. Then there is also inquiry, as I made mention of. To inquire about this young man. It becomes difficult when you even get to the parish where the person comes from and people are not even ready to open up. Yeah. That already is a red flag. Yes. Especially when you want to get to know through him, to get certain contacts, and is very, very reluctant in coming. That is also a red flag. Yes. So recruitment, promotion, then inquiry. Then there is also the education. In the recruitment or in genuine candidates, it's not necessarily that this person has said, because I'm called, automatically, yes, he has the requirements, he's baptized, he's confirmed, he has the certificates, academic certificates, so it's okay. No. That second part of the education in journeying with this candidate is to make him understand. Sometimes he's just been infatuated by seeing a priest. He has been a mass server, so for him, he sees himself already there. But here is the case, you have to help him that no, it doesn't work that way. Maybe you just admire, but that is not. Maybe the person has to go in for the married life, but sometimes it's the you will realize that maybe it's the parents. They are living their dream in the person. And then they will be pushing, but it's to help the candidate and also the lay faithful to also understand what priesthood is all about and what a vocation is all about. So the major roles I would put in these two, the recruitment, then also the education.
Okay. Father Finn, I know you want to add something to it, but let me ask this. Normally, the parents of the candidate, so to say, should give their consent before the person can proceed. If they are reluctant and you know genuinely that this person has the call, what do you do in that situation?
In the first place, knowing genuinely that someone has a call is reserved only to God.
Yeah.
I'm a human being.
Yeah.
But from the physical appearance, I may think this guy may respond to God's call. If the parents are reluctant, the religious will do it better. We have the parish priest. So we ask the parish priest to meet the parents. Possibly they know, and some of them are even ranking members in the church already. So the parish priest will meet them. Unless it's becoming difficult for the parish priest, then I will step in.
Okay.
So they do the recommendation and everything. And once the parish priest has recommended the young man, it means he's good to go.
Okay.
That's why we settle. So we don't go to the scratch to look for them and recommend them straight away.
Okay.
So we sometimes meet some parents, since I'm within a parish, and talk to them about the need to allow his or her ward to serve God. Some parents think about money, wasting probably resources on my ward, and I know I will recoup in future. This is a kind of vocation that the young man will bring nothing home.
Investment with no returns.
No returns. So they think about that. Secondly, you have to give birth. Name your child after me. So if I'm going to lose that, then you are not going. So we find a way to talk to them. But our archdiocese is blessed. They met the whites, those who brought the church to Ghana, and most parents understand this. So we don't have major challenges.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we have had to have those challenges anyway. Yes, but still, you would have to make recourse again to the parish priest because they are the closest. Then the first point of call. Probably there is something. If there isn't anything, then you just go ahead. Sometimes even becomes also of the same parish priest who would not even give the recommendation. So if the
simply because the person wants to be a religious.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes depends also on the understanding the parents have as far as religious life is concerned and how it has been spoken of. And probably there are antecedents. Some have gone and they came back. And as Father said, the facts will never be put out there. But the person may say otherwise. And that is what most people have, even parents. But you go down there, talk to the brother priest and tell him, okay, is there any issue? Why? If there isn't anything, then we will just trust in the grace of God that we are taking this risk on behalf of the church and of the congregation, hoping that it will come to be good, especially when the person is coming from maybe a background where parents are not even Catholics, parents are not even Christians, but probably the person went to stay with a relative who exposed him to the faith, and from there, the person got this desire and the aspiration. So, first the parish priest, though the priests who are close by, then the parents themselves, then we take it from there. Yeah.
So we take a short break here. When we come back, the conversation still continues.
Hello, dear friends there. You are welcome to the stand of the Order of Friars Minor Conventual, founded by St. Francis of Assisi in Italy. St. Francis of Assisi, a young man with all wild ideas, at certain moments received the call of God, had a turnover, listened to the voice of God, lived according to the voice of God, and this drew a lot of people to come and join him. So beginning the Order of Friars, the Order of Brothers Minor Conventual. We live in community. Community life is our mark, is our character. Sharing in common, living everything in common. The gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ. Wherever the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ can be lived, that is our life. Whether in media apostolate, whether in formation, spiritual direction retreats, that is what we do, and that is how we transmit the gospel. Our life is a life of community, where brothers are gifts for each and every one. If you are interested in joining us, if God is calling you, don't hesitate. Just call these numbers: 027-333-5115, 0249-613353. Come and share in the life of the Franciscans. Peace and goodness.
Welcome back, viewers, to Religious Vocation Digest here on Cafdil TV. Let's continue with our discussion. Father Finn, what necessitated the formation of your association, CAFDAG?
So I will hammer on 3 key issues.
Okay.
For all vocations directors and directresses to come together. 1, we are seeking uniformity in recruitment and formation.
Okay.
You know, the church is one. So there shouldn't be any difference between, or a sharp difference between, a diocesan priest and a religious priest,
Okay.
or a religious, being male or female. So that uniformity is needed. The second one is to curb anonymity. It's for us to know each other. If you're a vocations promoter or director, you should know your colleague in the other religious congregation or from the other dioceses. Okay. You have to know each other. And the last one is to check the movement of aspirants. Some aspirants are so crafty, so smart. From the Franciscan community, they want to go to the SMA. From there, they would like to be in the diocesan community. They are almost everywhere. They are dismissed from one congregation, and then they go to another congregation. You will see him in Castle, and tomorrow, how do you come here? No, I'm in Obuasi. So we check the movement of aspirants. So these 3, uniformity, to curb anonymity, and to check the movement of aspirants.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yes,
You want to add
so
anything?
it is this move that causes all of us to collaborate. You know, the collaboration helps us to be able to cut some of these. You know, you find candidates where at certain point they know that they are not fitting, they might be asked to discontinue, or they want to discontinue. But whilst in formation in one congregation or in a diocese, you find them also applying to other places. And so, if we as an association, it's easy for us to collaborate and to be able to track all these people, such that if a candidate wants to enter another place that he has made known, the person's picture or information is put across. Who knows about this person? And there are also imposters.
Yeah.
There are a lot of them. Yes, there are a lot of imposters who go around as priests, as seminarians, as religious. Probably because they are ex-seminarians or ex-religious. And so they would want to find themselves elsewhere. But through this association, it's easy to be able to get them out. All this is coming from the misunderstanding or misconception as to what vocation is all about. You know, there are some who are called, and there are some who also join. Some call and they join, but if somebody is joining, it might come with different motives. Some, it might be for prestige. In the past, you find people looking for maybe good education. And so all these motivations and how they'll be maneuvering from one to the other as an association is easy to be able to get
Track
them.
the
And the collaboration also helps in promoting vocations as far as discerning the right vocation. A young man might approach an assistant vocation director. This is what I feel. But journeying with the person, realize that no, he's that type who likes maybe a contemplative life. Why not go to the monastery? Why not choose a contemplative life? Probably the person doesn't know because he only sees father in the parish. Then you open up his mind. Okay, therefore, since I'm already in touch with the Franciscan or those of the monastery, I get in contact. This young man, this. So that collaboration helps even in the promotion of vocation.
So how do you operate as an association? What are your activities, your leadership, members, etc.?
Okay, so our operations are, I would say, diffused into the various areas we are. We are organized as a church into dioceses, and you find religious vocation promoters, diocesan vocation promoters all over dioceses, and so wherever they are, they come together as vocations teams in the various dioceses. Now, it is these teams who organize programs targeting the youth, youth rallies, vocation rallies, school visitations, and other occasions to promote vocations and viable grounds that you can seize the opportunity to promote vocation. So those are done at the various diocesan levels together, and also individually as religious and as diocesans on several platforms. You also promote vocation. So our activities are in this way. Then it culminates in that association where we always have a meeting to listen to what others have been doing, what we can learn from each other, what we can do going forward as far as collaboration, because this is on the national scale. Yes, so that is how we do operate, and some of the activities are those I've made mention of. Yeah.
Okay. Father Finn, would you like to?
So for leadership and membership, we also have the president, the vice president, we have the secretary, the vice secretary, we have the treasurer. And the CAFDAG is made up of the vocations directors of all the dioceses in Ghana and the religious congregations, including the women. So, though we have the teams, vocations teams in every diocese, is a leader who is a member of CAFDAG.
Okay.
So we meet annually. And as I sit here, they made me their president. So I'm the president of CAFDAG, and Father Francis Eduse is the secretary. So we are organizing this year's program in Takoradi.
Okay.
And we are expecting our members to respond positively.
Okay. So, as an association, over the years, what has been some of your challenges?
Bringing the vocations directors and directresses on board has been difficult. Sometimes we have new congregations popping up, and making them part of us is challenging. Sometimes we hear comments, they don't factor us into their programs, they don't hear about us, the diocese where they are is not supporting them. But the congregation is such that they themselves don't come out. So if you are not coming out, how do you join us and how do you go for outreaches with us? So it's been challenging. That's the first thing. Then effective interaction among members. The challenge is that sometimes I think I'm a congregation and I'm also a vocations director working for that congregation. I need members. How do I tell the young man that listening to you, your charism is such that you should belong to another congregation? You know, it's like religious houses, we are rubbing shoulders with each other. And listening to some of us, our congregation is worldwide. Our congregation is such that you travel abroad. We don't stay in Ghana. We are not limited to the diocese. So when you join us, you will travel. So what is the charism? But fine, he wants to lure the young lady or the young man, but what is using to lure him or her is wrong. You need your own charism. Some of our challenges, as I mentioned earlier, we don't have the logistics. Sometimes you would like to go out there, want to do more, but it's like our budgets will not support it. So sometimes we, the directors, think our superiors are aware of the enormous task ahead. Why are they not giving us the necessary funds for what we want to do? It's like, do they care at all? But we do what we can, and people will lash at you. It's like you are not working, you are not doing anything. Meanwhile, you need the support, and it's not coming. I think my brother will add the rest.
Okay.
Yeah. So with the support that is needed, we realize that CAFDAG has a connection with the National Catholic Secretariat, so the National Catholic Secretariat, we are under the Department of Pastoral Ministry and Evangelization.
Okay.
So the vocation promoter or the vocation director is actually a pastoral agent, for sure, as a religious or as a priest. And so we are also fostering this idea of this gospel through evangelization, to preach the gospel. And so one challenge is again whether our bishops also understand the enormity of the task that we have. Yes, that the Secretariat would also give us a stronger push as far as our activities. Sometimes I'm tempted to call it a very risky job. Yes, a risky job in the sense that you can get a good name or a bad name, because all the other colleagues, priests and religious in the congregation, they have their own understanding of how things have to operate. But they are not in the internal forum to understand what really is going on. Probably because I want a family member, a nephew, or a person from the parish to become. But the vocation director is more or less like becoming a bar. You know, he's barring this person from coming, probably because there is something which he or she may not even know. Yeah. So these challenges flowing up to the support which is actually needed, and making mention of the Catholic Secretariat as an association under this department. The Ghana Catholic Bishops Conference also have one of their chairs, like a bishop, who is responsible for our association.
Okay.
Yes. And so the one responsible, the Episcopal chair for formation and vocation is His Lordship, Bishop Afuakwa.
Okay.
Yes, the Bishop of Obuasi Diocese. Yes, and he has been so supportive, and since he was appointed, he has at least always made himself available to our meetings and the deliberations, and every resolution that we come up with, we send him to give to his brothers, and also with the Major Superiors Conference.
Okay.
And so we hope these challenges gradually gets to be resolved and to be cushioned, for sure. If there is no challenge, it becomes an easy task.
Yeah.
But the challenges are equally formative. They are also experiences that we have.
Okay. I forgot to ask. Definitely, there has been some achievement, isn't it?
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Sure. The CAFDAG actually began among the diocesan vocations directors alone.
Okay.
And later they decided to bring the religious
On
on board. And it's helping. If a young man is dismissed from the seminary, he will end up in a religious congregation. So that because of CAFDAG, we are able to liaise with each other to fish out those who probably in our case are not called. One thing we must know is that we are working for the church, and the church is one. Be it a diocesan priesthood or religious priesthood, we are one. We have the same criteria in case, but the problem is with the charism. It's the charism that differs.
Yeah.
Some would want to help the sick. Some would want to be in the classroom. So if a congregation will accept those who are in the hospital or coming from the hospital arena, and the fact that your charism doesn't support it, if the problem is with the charism, then we can accept you in another congregation. Yeah. But if the problem is with character, then it cuts across. So we have been able to achieve that. I can call Father easily and give him a seminarian or an aspirant. Another priest can call to ask me, do you know this person? Yes, I do. Then we sort things out. Then we are also able to interact better. We can even help a sister, brother, to reach her or his superior. Sometimes very difficult. I don't want to say everything, but we are able to, as CAFDAG, we are able to write to a superior to help the director or the directress to be more efficient and effective. We are able to do that. And members also feel that they are under a bigger umbrella and they are well supported. They feel safe working together. They have someone to talk to confer and refer issues to. We are doing our best.
Yeah. It hasn't been bad at all. So, Father, in your opinion, what do you think are the most worrying issues confronting vocations into the priesthood and then consecrated life?
The first one is materialism. In any epoch of life, something comes up. Sometimes it is the period of enlightenment, sometimes it is materialism, another time it is digitalization and the rest. People are materialistic. They want to know what they will gain before they join. So a young man will walk up to Jesus and ask, Peter will ask, now that we have left everything and followed you, what are we going to gain in return? Peter had a wife, possibly or probably he had children. So now that I will stop fishing and follow this carpenter, what am I going to gain? And today, people ask this question. And they even put this question to priests and religious. Ever since you ordained, what can you boast of? We boast of Christ. We have Christ, we give Christ to people, but many people don't see that. So they reluctantly give their awards to such formation houses. Then seminarians hopping from one religious congregation to another. It's also a sort of worry because they want to become priests or religious at all costs. And for us directors, if someone is showing such an attitude, for us, he's not called. It's not at all costs. No, he or she must allow him or herself to be pruned, to be journeyed with, and wait until God speaks. We are not having that. Another problem is the challenge with the priest in charge. A young man is sent to you as a supervisor, immediate supervisor, after his encounter or experience, write a report about a young man. I can't write everything because if I should write the mistakes he committed, possibly the vocation director will sack him, and the whole place, everybody will know that I'm the one who caused this young man not to be ordained. So he will not write anything. He's good, he did that. Then after ordination, you ordained this guy. You ordained this guy. You're not doing well. And if you don't recommend to another group somewhere, why didn't you recommend him? So it's a very risky job. And one priest came with Archbishop Bakel sometime, and the priest remarked that, Bishop, this is your vocation director. Young man, I pity you. This is the job I will never accept when I come back. Because you have lovers and you have haters. They are of equal proportion. So then the last thing I will talk about is a challenge, is visiting seminarians in their homes. It has been very challenging. As I sit here, minus Emisano, so to Mpedu, we have about 110 seminarians. It will be very difficult, I must say, to visit all of them in their respective homes. That is why we ask the parish priests who are their immediate supervisors to be there. So it's a serious challenge, especially when you don't have the vehicle for that. So these are
And
the
funds
four.
for fuel.
Fuel.
Vehicle goes with food.
So I will leave it here. My Benza is watching, so I'll leave it there.
Okay, Father Francis.
Yeah, I think philosophically, materialism is also attached to being utilitarian. You know, definitely, what will I gain? And so utilitarianism also becomes an offshoot of materialism. And so the way we use things, especially in our days, you know, we want things quick, and we are not able to maintain or to take care of something that I have, because probably it will just come, then another new thing will come. So I just use it, I dump it. I just use it and I dump it. And definitely that is something which comes with most of the aspirants and candidates. You know, okay, here I am, you have put me in this place. What will I get? How do I get this? And you know, you find them getting themselves in a funny relationships here and there, just because they would want to get some benefits, they would want to get some opportunities, just to use, you know. But in our case, as a religious, as a Franciscan, and you are spoken to about poverty, now you find yourself wanting, how is it going to happen? You know, such that we share things in common, it becomes difficult. And that is a challenge, especially of today. A challenge of today, again, has to do with the understanding of vocation as sacrificial, no, as a ministry. That, as you just put it, it is an investment without any returns. So you just throw yourself, and which is difficult for today's generation. Yeah, there is more of professionalism. You know, they would want to see, okay, as a priest I am, or as a religious, it's a profession. No, it's a vocation. It's a vocation. Thanks be to God that you may have opportunity of studying this or that, but that doesn't make you become a professional. Yes, you may be professional at a certain job, at teaching, or at being a health worker or something, but your first identity is being an agent of the gospel. Then you transmit it through this. That's why we call it the charisms. But some put it the opposite. That is why no matter what, they have to be in this gap, in a habit or in a cassock, probably because of influence in society, or probably because of certain things that they may get in life. So this is a big challenge. Yes, it's a very big challenge.
Okay, so CAFDAG is meeting in Takrady. Yes. When? And then what is your theme for this year's meeting?
Okay, as an annual general meeting, we are meeting in Takrady at St. Kizito Pastoral Center, 13th to the 17th of February.
Okay.
Yes. So that is the time frame with several activities. And as vocation promoters, as vocation directors, we can't come to Takrady or be in Takrady, and we wouldn't also promote vocations. So at a certain point, we would go to various parishes. And so we are aligning with the theme that the church nowadays is constantly reflecting on synodality. So our theme is nurturing vocations in a synodal church.
Okay.
The role of the vocation promoter.
Okay.
We realized that we didn't use the role of the vocation director or directresses. We just used the promoter, just to encapsulate both. Yeah, so that is the theme we would want to reflect on this year.
Okay. Father Finn, CAFDAG at 45. What is the way forward?
So, as you rightly mentioned, this is our 45th meeting
Okay.
in Takoradi. And the way forward is that the work of salvation must continue.
Okay.
Jesus did not die with the spread of the gospel. He chose some men and empowered them with the Holy Spirit to continue. And today, we make sure that we still have young men and women ready to continue the work of salvation. So if we are asking for the way forward of CAFDAG, we are still aligning with Christ to make sure that what the apostles did is still done today. Okay. This is it. So it's synodality, journeying together, want to journey with priests and religious, the priests and religious also journeying with the other faithful in the church, so that together we journey to heaven and attain salvation. This is the way forward. So we have salvation in view in the final analysis.
Okay. So who can support your activities and how?
For support, everybody must come on board. We first need our bishops and superiors of our congregations. In fact, they appointed us, vocation directors and promoters. So we need their support for logistics and finances. We need them. Then we also need the parents and the guardians of the young men and women who are called, who feel called. Yeah. If they don't give us their fiat, we are doing nothing. We will be like Peter. We work the whole day and the night and we will get nothing. We need their support. Then we need the support of the priests in charge. They will look at the charisms of the young men and women in the parishes and the outstations and help them to decide where they have to be. Because today I'm in the office, tomorrow I'm not there. Every priest can be in this office. So we need everybody to come on board. And we also need the young men and the women themselves, so that as they are thinking about what to do in future, they should plan also to be in the religious congregations and in the seminaries as well. It should be part of the choices they make in life. It's not as if, I think I cannot give birth, so let me be a sister. Someone said somewhere, Father, me share me be sene on pia de ya. Sene we jumia bi na obaya na sa. Say, okay. I will help him enter Emisano at all costs. And you get the result. Not less than a year, this guy wanted to leave. And I asked the mother, why is he leaving? I said, Juma wa do. So we are not lazy people.
Now she understands.
And Jesus never called lazy people. Never. Come through the Bible, even from the Old Testament. God called people who were at work, not those just sleeping. Samuel was sleeping, but he was the mission boy. So he was at post. Yeah. Not anywhere in the chapel, in the church. So we need the young men to avail themselves to respond to the call of God. The world is calling. Technology is calling. Jesus is also calling you. So which one do you listen to? So we need the young man, we need the young woman as well.
Okay, thank you. Your parting words.
Yeah, before my parting words, as Father made mention of, everyone can support us. Yes. More so financially. they can support us, especially as we gather on this 45th annual general meeting. And well wishers out there, good Catholics of good will, you can reach us on 0204 744 505. If you call this number, it will get to me. Or 020 713 9739. Still again, 0243679011. If you would want to give us anything to support our program, you are mostly welcomed. My parting words will be an encouragement to you viewers, both parents, you as a young Catholic, or a well-wisher. The harvest is rich, but the laborers are few. Support the work of vocation promotion, that we may get dedicated vocations, not to do any other thing, to continue the evangelization of Christ and to serve our Holy Catholic Church.
Thank you, Father. Father Finn, your parting words.
We would like to thank the Bishop of Sekeni Takoradi Diocese, Bishop John Baptist Atekulu, for gladly accepting us to host the program at Apawan, St. Mary's. We'd like to thank Very Reverend Father Kofi Lime, the Vicar General of Accra, who is of Takoradi, who is seeing to the affairs that will be well catered for, and the leadership of Sekeni Takoradi Diocese. We'd like to thank Father Alban, the Vocation Director of Sekeni Takoradi, for his readiness to host all of us. We would also like to thank in advance our Episcopal Chair, Most Reverend John Afuakwa, the Bishop of Abuasi Catholic Diocese, and our colleagues, vocation directors and directresses. We would like to pray for them for traveling mercies. We also plead with you listeners to support us with your prayers as we embark on this journey and to deliberate on matters concerning vocations. We have you at heart, so keep us in your prayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Father. So, this is how we draw down the curtain on today's edition of Religious Vocation Digest. Thank you, my guest, Father Francis Atobra Eduse Poku, and Father Francis Finn. Thank you for making time to join us here in our studios to do this discussion. We wish you well in your annual meeting, and then we also pray that God will send general souls to support you in whatever you are doing. We are grateful to you for coming. I would like to appreciate Friars Valley Water for coming to support us in today's edition of Religious Vocation Digest. We are in the month of February, and the month of February is a time to appreciate our loved ones in various forms and ways. I know you're wondering where to go on this festive occasion, which is 14th February. Coconut Grove Beach Resort Elmina got you sorted. They have beautiful packages to suit your pocket, be it a couple, a family, or a corporate institution. Do not hesitate to contact them on the following numbers: 0244 333 001, 0263 018 707, and 0263 018 743. Thank you for joining us this evening. Hope to see you again next week. I am Sister Marian. See you.